We're here in Chelsea at Sikkema Jenkins Co. to see work by Brazilian artist Maria Nepomuceno. This is one of the most colorful and inviting shows of the winter season. Talking about past work, she says she's aimed to create a spirit of possibility and generosity, and with this show, she achieves that. As we head into the show, the first piece you see is an untitled sculpture that's signature Nepomuceno. Looks like maybe plant forms. There's references to the human body. And you see these spiraling shapes that are really dynamic. They lead your eye around the piece, and they appear throughout the show. She doesn't just want to move your eye around the piece, though. She also has talked about creating forms that are open and expansive. And she says that go towards the infinite. Here we see forms that are made out of beads, and you also see a resin form. She talks about the beads as being like cells. And when she makes ceramics, she talks about that being like flesh sometimes. The braided straw can be like skin. And these cords that go throughout the work and throughout the show, she describes as being like umbilical cords. Heading into the main gallery, we see the title piece for the show, Roda das Encantadas, or Enchanted Wheel. The gallery explains that the title refers to a group of women she connected with during the pandemic. Their arms become ropes, and their hands create connections to each other and to the objects in the work. She invents her own ways of working with materials, braiding and weaving, but she's also been inspired by Brazilian craft traditions and works with Brazilian women who weave straw or work in other traditional ways. She's talked about, just loving how makers work with gourds, and indigenous people use it practically. In the past, she's worked with various groups of people, including at Turner Contemporary in Margate in England. She received a commission to create a piece there, and she invited the community to help her make the work. So she says that in this way, the work becomes about time and also affection. She talks about touch in Brazil as being a way of showing affection, and then I guess by extension giving affection to the work itself. In the rest of the gallery, you see a series titled Out of the Window, featuring actual windows in the work. The gallery says that the window works give a sense of looking outward towards freedom, which is especially something we can connect with during the pandemic. But it also goes back to an earlier idea about giving time back to the viewer, or really changing our idea of time. So she's not telling a story, there's no linear narrative. Instead, she comes back to the idea of a cycle. We've seen so many wheel shapes and organic circular shapes, and there's a cyclical idea that she's trying to convey, as well as making cyclical forms. Nepomuceno's organic and circular forms are about connectedness, and one of the really great things about the work, apart from how beautiful it is that it gives us a different way to think of and experience time, in a time when our thinking about time has really changed. So she suspends time and says that she wants people who are looking at her work to be in an environment where they can breathe, lose the notion of where they are, or what they're doing, or what the piece is for. She says, I want to create an atmosphere that absorbs you, a place that's about affect, ancestral connections in the future, about time, living, and feeling alive. Vital energy, that's what I'm trying to create.